Hi, everybody. Sorry, it's been a few weeks here. Been very busy doing a couple of transformations, really, career-wise. So it's kind of impacted my gaming stuff, but I'm back here. And today I want to finish off with the Waterloo series. I've got 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and 9 p.m. on this. Fallen Eagles 2. There it is. Amazing. Just an amazing finish here, you'll find out. So, anyway, here I am, Mark Hanna, unscripted, unapologetic, uncensored, and psychologically immune to social media scoring. I'm Grecian Formula. So, let's go and check this out. So, we have Waterloo Fallen Eagles here. And what I want to get into are the diagrams right now. So, I'm going to start off with these diagrams of 7 o'clock, 8, and 9. And the 8 o'clock turned out to be a really short turn. So that certainly messed up the allies initially, but you're going to see some exciting stuff happen here. At the end, I want to do a 5 or 10 minute ramble on my impressions of this game, if I haven't already given them to you enough so far. Right, okay, so here's the 7 o'clock scenario. So at 7 p.m., you can see, let me put the annotations on. And here we go. So here's the Prussians. We got white here. I haven't scripted this, so I've upgraded this, so there's some new stuff. So here's the two Prussians here. There's another Prussian group, another division that's coming in over here. It's probably not going to make it to the battle. They came in late. Uh, the Prussians have been facing the Guard. You can see the Guard here. Let's try red for the Guard. Yeah, here's the Guard. So the Guard has been basically holding off the Prussians, and I can tell you right now, I've learned here about this Guard. If you look at these guys, let me see if I can zoom in a bit and clear that off here. You can see the morale of this Guard. Here's one that's an 11, 10, 11. Uh, some of these guys are even, well, some of the Guard at the beginning in 1805 is a morale of 12. This is morale 11. This is really hard for the Prussians to deal with. You can see that their basic morale is 6 or 7. So even if they get a 5-to-1 odds attack in melee, which gives you a -5 DRM, the the guard's going to already have a +4 DRM, so it's going to be really hard to do anything but a straight up attack on them, and that's if you can get 5-to-1. So I've learned over a course of a couple of games now, you've got to knock down these guards. Once you flip them over, they start losing morale basis, and then you can take them on. They become manageable, but until you blood them, they're not going anywhere. And that's what's been holding up these Prussians so far on this side. Okay. Now over here, we've got some critical areas. We've got uh, the battle for uh, La Haye Saint, the battle for Hougoumont. This one is over. The well, it's not really over, but the first corps here. Let's zoom in on these guys. Um, the French is the first corps, second corps. Uh, they've been more or less. You can see all these routed guys here. They've been more or less put out of the game. They're demoralized. Their attacks are lower in terms of DRM. They can't move very fast, and basically there's no chance for them to take Hougoumont at this point. However, there is a chance, as you can see, this corps over here is going to make an attack this way, and what's happening is the French we'll be moving into a gap because what's going to happen here is this cavalry is going to gather up here with the intention of making a charge here to take this hex. That's the plan for the Allies. Uh, they think they can hold on to this, they can hold on to this. They're not aware that there's a threat over here yet. So that's the plan for them. The French, that's their plan. So this, let's go ahead and change color again. So these French units in First Corps are gradually going to fall back and just hold off those guys that might be coming at them from above here. Uh, the what's left of these guys, they're going to fall back to a line here to try to defend that flank here. Luckily, there's some French cavalry coming in. We got two batches of French cavalry that will help out. There's one here and another here. These guys are going to close in here and here to try to seal this off because they know that this blue corps, this second corps, isn't going to be able to handle it on their own. So that's pretty much the overview here. So the orders were issued, and here are the orders. You can see so let me just give you the white orders. You can see there's still quite a few guys on the defensive for the Allies, but here's the cavalry corps order. There's another division that's going in over here. Netherlands Cav and a couple of other divisions coming in over here to cut those guys off. But as you can see, they don't really have any firm orders to hold this area, and that's going to be a problem for them later on. Now, as you can see, the French down here, using the red, here's the attack by 6th Corps coming this way. 1st Corps orders still to hold the line here. I didn't put them in defensive mode, though. 2nd Corps falling back, 3rd Cav coming this way, 4th Cav this way, and the Guard holding. So that's the situation. All right, so what happens? Let's move on to the next hour. Boom, so here it is at 8 o'clock, and a lot of time went by. The French are still continuing to win. If you take a look at the score chart, French 532, Coalition 466, nothing decisive going on there. But the French, as you can see, they have now moved 6th Corps into attack position here to take this. Okay, as you can see over here, Hougoumont is now safe for the coalition. And you can see that they've made some inroads here with their cavalry here. Picton, let's zoom in on this Picton action right here. Okay, let's take a quick zoom in on that. And you can see the French are in a little bit of trouble because they're trying to hold this particular objective with cavalry. And cavalry's not good at holding ground. They really can't take infantry onslaughts. They shouldn't be trying to. Even though they're guards, they shouldn't be trying to. You can see there's been some losses here. There's been some artillery losses. The efforts of the cavalry division are taking their toll. They're moving in to attack. They've done some attacks here and here. There's Uxbridge. In fact, if we zoom back out, we can see that in reality, there's a big gap here. They could conceivably go all the way down. I guess you can't see it, but there's a down here. I've got these images in the way, but down here, there's a supply source. And by the way, that's where these Prussians are going also. They're trying to take the supply source from the French. These Prussians are pinning down the guard, and the guard is just standing there. Uh, you can see, let's go back over to the French side. So, yeah, I don't want to use that white color. So here they've made a line here, given up on this. That's Papillot. Maybe that's it. I'm not sure. One of those is. Anyway, the French have pulled back from those objectives. They're going for this one, and they're going to try to hold this one. That's the situation here at the start of 8 o'clock. So looking at now the orders, you can see the orders are starting to converge on everything here. Uh, 6 Corps, let's take a look at the French. So the 6 Corps still on the attack right here, trying to take that particular objective. Each objective is worth 60 points, but it's also a 60-point swing the other way. So you can effectively add 120 points differential if you take an objective that the other guy is holding. It's even more if you take the supply source hexes. So there, that's what the French are after. Here, this one, this is what the coalition's after. And you can see all of a sudden they're actually also after the supply source. So you can see here, bam, they're coming in hard. They're coming in hard to try to get, this is still that other division that can't get orders any further than that. Okay, so there's that. The Guard has actually had to recenter their defense because they're going to have to come back and defend this spot. In order to get to this spot, they can't have an objective over here. They've got to have an objective down here. So this is sort of a somewhat desperate move by the Guard, although um, it's very true that these Prussians are in danger. Let's go back to the previous slide. These Prussians here are in danger of getting around them, so to speak. They're down here. These guys here are cutting around the side, and these guys really can't cover that because right now they have an order to guard this, so they can only vaguely creep back. It's a little bit of an urgent situation. They can't afford to lose their supply hex, that's for sure. Okay, so moving on. Let's continue to move on. All right. And let me just check something here. I'm going to pause for a second. Okay, it's really hard for me to make sure that my I can only hope that my audio is, I'm going to have to redo this if it's not working. All right, so here we go. Moving on to the 9 p.m. turn. Now, at the start of the 9 p.m. turn, this is the last turn of the game. It's pretty hard to see, but you can see how the Prussians did get around down here. They're threatening the victory hex. Uh, the other thing that's happening here is let's zoom back out before I get too far ahead of myself. Okay, so zooming back out. All right, so first of all, French are ahead in points still, 555 to 477. As you can see, I was too lazy to even replace the card. It was the last time. The French have tried to assault over here. They've pushed back. Let's go ahead and take a look at this sector. The French have pushed up. They've had to rout some guys. Let's take a quick look at that sector. If we can zoom in here on it. Not very good photo, but there's only remnants of guys here defending this. These are guys that got crushed earlier. They're all demoralized. Some of them, you see right here, routing out of the area. Okay, so that's the scoop here. Uh, Dangerous hole developing, possibly, for this, but there's only one turn left. It's really not realistic to expect the cav to get to the supply source anymore. So what's going to become the focus is this. This is these two areas right here, plus possibly the supply area, are going to determine the outcome of this game. At least that's what I thought at this point in time. Okay. That's what I thought was going to happen. But what was really interesting and what did happen is because this is the last turn, so some desperate measures were taken, some desperate attacks. And what happened? Oh, here's the orders. Okay. They're pretty self-explanatory, not much change from last time. So what happened is this is quite amazing a finish. Now, you might think I contrived this, but perhaps I did a little bit. But what I did do is I had Wellington charge ahead with the cavalry along with this division. So Uxbridge, with Wellington's help, was able to take the victory hex right here. So the last gasp for Napoleon was for him to countercharge. He took his guard. He was leading the guard himself, and he would have had to break through. Let's change these colors here. His only hope was to break through, which is a really good chance. I mean, he had a -5 DRM on this guy, who only had a morale of 7. But Napoleon gacked the roll. He rolled a 12 and failed to break through. Not only that, after that, he wounded himself because he rolled a 12, and that was the end of the game. Basically, uh, uh, Napoleon's wounding was worth like 100 points or something. It was a crazy amount of points. Um, they were Wellington was watching Napoleon lead the charge. It was quite epic, really. You have to think about it, but it was pretty epic. So anyway, very fun ending, very exciting ending. Here's the close up of Napoleon wounded. I guess you could say it's a close up of all of the action around uh, the particular location. I forget the name of that spot, but anyway, amazing. Just absolutely fun and amazing. So this was the position there. Wellington's victorious move. Here, the French succeeded in stopping the Prussians from getting to the supply center here. This is the supply center, and they just weren't able to get through. I mean, these guards are too tough. Prussians were absolutely ineffective. All they did was contribute to the Allied losses. It was the worst use of Prussians I've ever seen. Since it's my fault, that's the only bad use of Prussians I've ever seen in this game. I just didn't play them well. Okay, so there's this one. And finally, the last position is Orange came up, the Duke of Orange. And Mouton did his absolute best to try to take Merbe, but he failed. So this position held at the last bit. You can see they were pressing on, and then word of Napoleon's demise came through, and that's it, surrender. So that's it. That was the game. And final score, the Allies, because of Napoleon and the switching of the position of that location. Gosh, I should know the name of it because that's what they called this battle here. Fallen Eagles. Here, let me look at this order card. Yeah, Belle Alliance, that was called. The Belle Alliance was the place that fell. Um, the Allies had a major victory. They won by more than 200 points, 741 to 508. And the Guard, you can see the Guard weeping because they were largely intact. They actually took some losses when they lost La Belle Alliance, but in general, the Guard was still there. But they saw Napoleon fall, and that was it. All right, students. I'm sorry, I just called you students. I'm so used to doing this online for my students here. So fellow players, excuse me, fellow players. Right, so some final comments here I'd like to make about this. First of all, the game has so many unique, it's just an amazing design. The command control rules and the fog of war associated with the command control rules, not so much a factor in Waterloo because it's more of a set piece battle, although there's some variants I want to try. But we were playing Austerlitz. I'm playing with another guy named Mark, and the hidden movement that you have with dummy leaders moving around um, can really hide what you're trying to do. And that's a dimension to this game that I've never seen so easily done. I've played the gamers and they're complex and horrid. I'm sorry, it's a horrid order system where you have to write down orders. Um, you have to assume that your interpretation of the orders is going to be the same as your opponent's. All that's gone. You use the order cards, you place your orders for your units, you can put dummy orders out there, they're masked, and then you have to activate. And activation of each formation is dependent upon the leader quality, and the leader quality can vary from 7 to 10 or 11. So you have to roll less than their leader quality to get the formation moving. And if you don't, you get stuck like a bump on a log, and the other guy could be moving around and going behind you or something. So the leadership quality on each side can make a big difference. Generally, the French have an edge on this. Uh, the size of the formations makes a difference. The larger size of the French formations gives them a little bit more control. However, they tend to run out of options faster if the turn is extended. If it's a shorter turn, this benefits the French. But you never know when the turn's going to end exactly. It's quite variable. Uh, excuse me. What else? Tactical system, really nice. I think it obviously some people who play Napoleonic games are going to find that it's lacking. It doesn't have formations necessarily. They are formations, but they're intrinsic to die roll modifiers. There's not a counter to be in column. There's not a counter for going into square. Everything's done by orders and so forth. So you can have defenses against cavalry, which are then weak against artillery, or you can be more mobile, which allows you more counterattacks, but then you're vulnerable to cavalry out in the open. Um, so all of this is really beautiful, and uh, it works really well. I've never seen an order command control system more elegant than this one. I wish I could apply it to Advanced Squad Leader. I think Advanced Squad Leader could really benefit from an order system like this. Um, I'm going to try. I think a whole new game has to be invented, though. I think that the current state of Advanced Squad Leader, which I don't want to dwell on here, is that it's just pretty much entrenched. They're open to some new ideas, but it's been that game system for 30 years and people are happy with it. However, it could really benefit from this hugely. That's my opinion. All right, what else? Fun game. Let's take a look at some variants that they have in here. So we had, oh, those are on the cards here, alternate history cards. Alternate history cards. Look at this. No rain. I think that means the French can get started off a little sooner. Um, let's see. That would also bring the Prussians on sooner. Napoleon was playing well. Actually, he wasn't feeling well during the actual battle. There's a card for that. Grouchy wins against the Prussians. There's a variant for that. Blucher gets in there faster. The guard can be committed faster. Storms. Okay. Really good. Okay. I would say this game's pretty easy to learn. It seems easy to learn. There's some nuances, though, that crop up that just surprise you all the time. And the intricacies of the cavalry stuff can be hard to learn. The hardest part is that the hardest part of the game is learning that Uh, but insofar as the complexity goes, you have the rule book here. It's for all the series. You've got Waterloo, Austerlitz, which I'm playing online twice now. I got crushed the first time as the coalition. Now I'm trying my hand as the French. That's a nice. I might make a video about that. I'm not sure. I have to talk to my opponent. Um, Last Eagles, Ligny, and Quatre Bas. I'm playing Quatre Bas with somebody now. Sorry, it's taking up my ASL time. If you any ASLers are wondering when I'm going to start doing ASL stuff again, I have a few things to say about that. I will do some videos about that. Um, let's see. So yeah, how many order rules? Let's see. We got 17 pages, 20 pages. Yeah, 23 pages. Look, it's no ASL when it comes to the number of rules, that's for sure. It's not bad. Not bad at all. So I highly recommend this. Get this. There's a new one coming out, the Bitter Winter Battle of Eylau. Apparently, Marat had a huge cavalry charge to save the French from disaster in that battle. Um, I'd like to see that uh, in play. So that's coming out. That's going to be play tested, apparently. Might try to jump on board the play test there. So, anyways, enough. I think it's time for me to sign off. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, thanks for watching all the way to the bitter end here. Again, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for listening. Take care.